Good evening and welcome to the City of Wilmington's public comment portion of our business meeting. Today is November 5th, 2020. As I said, this is the public comment portion of our meeting, and we have one person to speak today. I'd like to remind you that your comments are to be held to a 3-minute time limit, and we ask that you speak to items on our agenda as well as things that you feel are pertinent to the City of Wilmington. And I want to thank you for coming out to share your comments today. And would like to begin with Mr. Dale Thomas from the 7th District. Would like to come and present your comments to the council in the City of Wilmington.
Thank you very much, President Shabazz. Everybody, thank you very much for this chance to talk. Public comment, as you know, is so very important, and I really appreciate everybody who's here listening to me speaking now. Two things real quick. One, congratulations to all of those who won their races. Thank you for your service, and I look forward to working with all of you with the new year. For those who did not win, please take heart. Thank you for your service, and it has been a pleasure working with you as well. I'd especially like to thank and congratulate my councilman, Mr. Chris Johnson, on a good fight. I ran against him, and he did well. He did very well, and congratulations, Chris. To those who voted for me, I apologize I didn't do better. But thank you for voting for me. And Chris, I look forward to working with you, especially on things that I know we agree with on common ground, and to keep things civil as far as things we don't agree with. One thing I would like to praise you on, Councilman Johnson, tonight is Ordinance 20-031-4816, an ordinance to enact certain traffic and parking regulations. This is exactly what City Council is for. Though I do think we need to find ways to not use taxpayer money. I do believe that taxation is extortion. When it does come to using money from taxpayers, making sure that the signs that we need to make things run efficiently and safely are very important. So thank you for that. That's all I had to say. Again, President Shabazz and everybody on the council, thank you very much for your time. And again, I look forward to working with all of you here in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. And I believe that concludes the public comment portion of our meeting tonight, and we will return back promptly at 6:30 for the business portion of our agenda. Thank you very much. like to call the meeting to order. We will have the opening prayer by Ms. Andrea Queen.
In humility, gratitude, and great joy, we open our hearts, our eyes, our ears, our minds, as we meet to serve our city with the intent on doing good work, to use resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, to make decisions that promote the common good. We recognize our responsibilities to the past and the future, and the rights and needs of both individuals and community. May our efforts be blessed with insight, guided by understanding and wisdom. As trusted servants, we seek guidance on our deliberations. And on our efforts, may we act wisely and well and strive to reach our higher potential.
At this time, we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the
of the
United
United States of America
and to the
and the
republic
republic
for which it stands,
stands
one
one
nation,
nation
under
under
God,
God, indivisible,
indivisible, with
with
liberty
liberty
and justice for all.
The clerk will call the roll.
Councilwoman Gray,
Present.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Present.
Councilwoman Harley,
Present.
Councilman Turner, Councilman Turner, Councilwoman McCoy,
Here.
Councilman Johnson,
Here.
Councilman FREEL,
Here.
Councilman Adams,
Here.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Present.
Councilman Guy, Councilman Guy, Councilwoman Walsh,
here,
President Shabazz,
Present.
11 present and 2 absent.
Excuse me, did you hear me?
No, I did not.
Present.
11 present, excuse me, and 1 absent.
Reading of the minutes of our previous meeting.
October 15, 2020, City Council met in virtual regular session, the above
Move the
date.
minutes be accepted as written.
second,
It's been probably moved in second. The minutes be accepted as written on the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye,
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Committee reports.
Yes. October 19, 2020, President, members of Council, City of Wilmington, ladies and gentlemen, we, your Public Works and Transportation Committee by virtual meeting, to who was referred ordinance number 20031 entitled, an ordinance to enact certain traffic and parking regulations. I've given this ordinance careful study and recommend council vote on it accordingly. Respectfully submitted, those members present: Councilman Turner, Councilman Adams, Councilwoman Harley, Councilwoman Walsh, President Shabazz. Absent with leave, Councilwoman Oliver.
Madam President, I move that committee report be received, reported, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second that report be received, recorded, and filed on the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried.
October 19, 2020, President, members of Council, City of Wilmington, ladies and gentlemen, we, your Public Works and Transportation Committee by virtual meeting, to was referred ordinance number 20047 entitled, an ordinance to authorize and approve a 1-year extension of contract 20037 FD between the City of Wilmington and City Towing Services LLC for the provision of towing and impounding of vehicles. I've given this ordinance careful study and recommend council vote on it accordingly. Respectfully submitted, those members present: Councilman Turner, Councilman Adams, Councilwoman Harley, Councilwoman Walsh, President Shabazz. Absent with leave, Councilwoman Oliver.
Madam President, I move that committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that report be received, recorded, and filed on the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. City Treasurer's report.
November 5th, 2020, total investment, $379,787,921.62. Total cash on hand, $11,745,807.07. Grand total, $391,533,728.69. Felder Jones Potter, City Treasurer.
Move the treasurer's report be received, recorded, and filed, adopted by yea, nay vote.
second,
It's been properly moved and second, report be received, recorded. On the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye,
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. I accept the motion to move to accept all non-legislative business.
So
so
moved.
moved,
Second.
second,
Properly moved and second, to accept all non-legislative business on the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye,
Any opposed? Motion carried. We had numerous resolutions presented and given out for sympathy. There wasn't any acknowledgements, but I would like to, at this moment, acknowledge and say a word of prayer to our chief of staff who lost her mother. And City Council did send articles of recognition and sympathy and flowers to our chief of staff. And so we ask everyone to keep her in prayer from such a tragic loss of her mother. Now we move on to the legislative business agenda. Councilwoman Gray, any legislation tonight? Councilwoman Gray, any legislation tonight?
None tonight, Madam President.
Councilwoman Oliver, any legislation tonight?
None tonight, Madam President.
Councilwoman Harley, any legislation tonight?
No legislation tonight, thank you.
Councilmember McCoy, any legislation tonight?
Nothing tonight, Madam President.
Councilmember Johnson, legislation, sir?
Yes, Madam President. I have an item to present.
Ordinance number 20031, agenda 4816, an ordinance to enact certain traffic and parking regulations.
Okay, Madam President, I move that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and call for a yea, nay vote.
Second.
second,
It's been properly moved and second, that be known as an acting clause of the ordinance to call for yea, nay vote on the question.
Yes, this is an ordinance being presented as is presented every year regarding traffic regulation changes. This is the third and final reading. These are various regulations actually throughout the city. So not just my district, but third district, I believe there's fourth district intersections. I believe almost every district is hit through this ordinance. So in keeping with the spirit of moving the city forward, this is, I think, a step in the right direction. These are, I think, intersections and traffic concerns that we've all heard from our residents, and I think our constituents will be happy that we're going to be making these permanent changes, putting these signs in place at places where it may be dangerous. So I applaud all colleagues for joining in on this, and if there's any questions, I would ask for a roll call vote if there's no questions.
Okay, well, we do have to, I see there's no comments from members of council, but we do need to go to the public to see if there's any comments from the public. Seeing none, I come back to the sponsor, Councilman Johnson. There's no comments from members of council, so as you requested, I will call for the vote.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman FREEL,
Yes.
Councilman Adams,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Yes.
Councilman Guy,
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh,
yes,
President Shabazz.
Yes,
11 yeas and 1 absent.
declared adopted.
Thank you very much, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilmember Frill, legislation.
Yes, Madam President, I have two ordinances for first and second reading.
Ordinance 20050, agenda 4873, an ordinance to authorize and approve 2 one-year extensions of contracts 20033 PW between the City of Wilmington and Allan Myers LP for street paving.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to authorize and approve 2 one-year extensions of contract 20033 PW between the City of Wilmington and Allan Myers LP for street paving.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Madam President, I move that be known as the first and second reading of that ordinance referred to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance referred to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Ordinance 20051, Agenda 4874, an ordinance to authorize and approve 2 one-year extensions of contract 20032 PW between the City of Wilmington and Diamond Materials LLC for concrete improvements.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to authorize and approve 2 one-year extensions of contract 20032 PW between the City of Wilmington and Diamond Materials LLC for concrete improvements.
Second reading of the ordinance.
I move that be known as the first and second reading of that ordinance referred to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
That's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Adams, legislation, sir.
Yes, ma'am. I have an ordinance for a third reading and final reading, please.
Ordinance 20047, Agenda 4870, an ordinance to authorize and approve a one-year extension of contract 20037 FD between the City of Wilmington and City Towing Services LLC for the provision of towing and impounding of vehicles.
Madam President, I'd like that to be known as third and final reading of the ordinance
Second.
and put it forward for a yea and nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and call for the yea and nay vote on the question. Councilman Adams on the question.
No, ma'am. No comment. It's basically for us to extend a contract for towing services within the city.
Okay. I see no comments from members of council. Are there any comments for this ordinance from members of the public? Seeing none, and Councilman, you have no closing comments, then I will call for the roll.
Please, Madam President, thank you.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman FREEL,
Yes.
Councilman Adams,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Yes.
Councilman Guy,
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh,
Yes.
President Shabazz,
Yes,
11 yeas and 1 absent.
declared adopted.
Madam President, that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Dixon, any legislation tonight?
Nothing tonight, Madam President. Thank you.
Councilmember Guy, sir, any legislation?
Nothing tonight, Madam President.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Walsh, legislation?
Yes, I have several resolutions, Madam President.
Resolution 20064, Agenda 4875, whereas pursuant to Section 2363 of the City Code, the council deems it necessary and proper to specify the requirements for review and approval.
Madam President, I move that be known as the reading of that resolution, that it be received, recorded, and filed and adopted by yea and nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. The resolution be received, recorded, and filed, and adopted by yea and nay vote on the question.
Madam President, all three of these grants are through the Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security money is what all this is. And this is a $10,200 grant, no matching funds, which is going to upgrade the current video system that they have to allow it to do to have digital capability.
Are there any comments from members of council? Seeing none, are there any comments from the public? Seeing none, Councilman Walsh, would you like closing comments?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Clerk, call the roll.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman FREEL,
Yes.
Councilman Adams,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Yes.
Councilman Guy,
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh,
yes,
President Shabazz.
Yes,
11 yeas and 1 absent.
declared adopted.
Resolution 20065, Agenda 4876, whereas pursuant to Section 2363 of the City Code, the council deem it necessary and proper to specify the requirements for review and approval of city-sponsored grant applications.
Madam President, I move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed and adopted by a nay vote.
Second.
Properly moved and second, the resolution be received, recorded, and filed, and adopted by a yea and nay vote on the question.
Again, this is the Office of Management, Emergency Management. And this is through the Delaware Emergency Management Agency for 2020. This is for $69,250. And it's basically to cover and recover some costs from the current COVID situation.
Any comments from members of council? Seeing none, are there any comments from the public? Seeing none and no further comments from members of council. Council Walsh, would you like closing comments?
I'm fine, thanks.
Clerk, call the roll.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman FREEL,
Yes.
Councilman Adams,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Yes.
Councilman Guy,
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh,
Yes,
President Shabazz.
Yes,
11 yeas and 1 absent.
declared adopted.
and one more.
Resolution 20066, Agenda 4877, whereas pursuant to Section 2363 of the City Code, the council deem it necessary and proper to specify the requirements for review and approval of city-sponsored grant applications or proposals, including authorization for expedited grant applications.
Madam President, may this resolution be received, recorded, and filed and adopted by a nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second, the resolution be received, recorded, and filed, and adopted by yea and nay vote on the question.
This is actually to the tune of $480,000. And this funding is used for the operation of the Office of Emergency, the Emergency Operations Center.
With no comments from members of council. We have a comment from someone of the public. Aaron Goldner.
Hi, Aaron Goldner. I sorry. I started to hear what the clerk was reading, and then she was cut off saying something about even if it's expedited or something, I guess there's a process. But are we able to see what they submitted to City Council? Is the public able to see what they submitted to City Council for this request?
Well, they simply,
Councilwoman Walsh.
no, I'm sorry, Madam President. Should have waited for you to recognize me.
Mhm.
If you want to see a copy of the application that they send, you could see it through their office.
Okay.
We don't have a copy of the application itself, but it's for $480,000. And what it does is it funds the office and the Emergency Operations Center.
It's their total budget?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Their total budget? No.
Oh, so they could function without this request?
No, they could not. And
So it's-
especially if they had to dole out the money for what's needed to be spent on the COVID right now,
Okay.
the city would have to come up with all that money,
Okay, so
which
it
would
is,
make it very difficult to run our city.
okay. That's what it is specific to COVID. It does say that, I think. Okay. Thank you. Wait, does it say that?
Thank you, Ms. Golden.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the, I see no other comments from the public. Are there any other comments from members of council? Councilwoman Walsh, would you like to closing comments?
I think it speaks for itself, so I don't have anything more to say.
Clerk, would call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman FREEL,
Yes.
Councilman Adams,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Yes.
Councilman Guy,
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh,
Yes,
President Shabazz.
Yes,
11 yeas and 1 absent.
declared adopted.
and that's all I have this evening. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Going to petitions and communications. Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Just notice on the non-legislative business, I didn't see the resolution for Mr. Keith Booker, whose funeral was today, so I just want that to be noted.
So noted.
Thank you.
Okay, so noted. Petition and communications, Councilwoman Gray.
Yes, Madam President, thank you. I'd just like to say that Director Kelly and Director Inden and I met last week about the renovations to Haynes Park. So that is moving forward, and hopefully Director Kelly is going to apply for CARES funds, and maybe we can use that. As everyone probably realizes, Haynes Park was greatly damaged by the storm we had this fall or late summer. So that cleanup has been done, but there are going to be renovations, and we are going to have a community meeting to discuss what has been picked out and what can be done and how soon we're moving forward. So I'd like to thank Director Kelly and Director Inden for that. Also, I'd like to say to the residents of Crestview, I have been attempting to get in there for months. And even before the Parkview incident, I was scheduled to visit Crestview. Mr. Hill finally put it on his schedule, and the meeting was for Wednesday at 4, and Mr. Hill did not show up. I was there, and for any residents that didn't see me, there was nothing organized because he didn't show up, but I must say that Mr. Spadola and Ms. Patton did give me sort of a short tour of Crestview. But if residents have other concerns or have concerns or would like to speak to me, please give me a call, 547-1151. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Oliver, petitions and communications.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I'd like to give kudos to Pastor D and his group. I marched, walked with him for a silent march from Market Street to Rodney Square for Stop the Violence for was really about 25 parents that had lost their children to gun violence. I was impressed. It was a small group of people. And as I said, they had police escort, but it was just a quiet, silent march. It wasn't no noise out there. Secondly, I'd like to give a shout out to OBV for, that would be Old Brandywine Village. They have been, for the last month, planting lilies with the Center of Horticulture when the weather changes, and they had quite a few volunteers out there the last couple of weeks. And I'd like to thank all the residents in the 3rd District who came out and voted for me, and that will be all. Thank you, Madam President.
Councilmember Harlan.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I would like to announce that myself, along with Prevailing Church and Love Nation, will be sponsoring a free grocery giveaway on this Saturday, November the 7th at 11 a.m. In Longshoreman's parking lot, 200 South Claymont Street. It's going to be a week's worth of groceries, 1 box per family while the supplies last. So again, that's this Saturday, November the 7th, 11 a.m. And it's going to be very good quality food. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows that it's going to be plenty of food. Please spread the word. And I look forward to seeing them on this Saturday at 11 a.m. Thank you.
Councilmember McCoy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I actually just wanted to say thank you to the residents of the 6th District, mostly Browntown, Hedgeville, and then right outside of Newcastle County. We had a Maryland Avenue cleanup this past weekend. It was very successful. Thank you so much to St. Elizabeth's and all of their help with making certain that Maryland Avenue corridor looked nice. I'm glad it was cleaned up because we had a lot of traffic just recently with everything going on with our Vice President. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for participating. And also, I did want to actually just pay my condolences to a dear friend. Her name is Margaret Harding, and she has passed away, and her funeral is actually going to be coming up this coming Tuesday. And I did not have the foresight to put it on this for the agenda for this coming meeting. So I just wanted to make certain that I paid my respects.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes, everyone. Good evening. I just wanted to make an announcement of an upcoming event in the 7th District. So this upcoming Sunday at 2 o'clock is the Union Park Garden Fall Fest. There's it's hard to get out right now, and I know residents have been looking forward to this. There's going to be music. There's going to be food trucks. And also going to be kids games. Folks should just come out, have a good time, socially distanced, good time. Also make sure you have your mask on. But it will be at 2 o'clock this Sunday at on Bancroft Parkway. And also I just want to again remind our business community that the Newcastle County and the Committee of 100 is still accepting winterized grants. The application period opened October 14th. In fact, one of my local businesses just received a grant. So please spread the word. If you know a business that may be in need, they can help with things such as awnings, tents, heaters, big propane heaters so that folks can eat outside. Anything that will help our small businesses get through the tough winter. So please spread the word. The grants are there for all. And just the next announcement is just this upcoming Monday. There is Public Safety Committee meeting. Despite what's going on with our transition in council, this is still time on. This is not a time off. Public Safety Committee, we do have on the agenda the Police Oversight Board. That legislation is on. So please come out. I know there's a lot of distractions, but we can't lose sight of police reform and criminal justice reform, as that's a ever evolving thing that we have to take seriously in council. So the public safety meetings this Monday, and as well as there's also other things, even in regards to reparations that our council is looking at. So please continue to send your great ideas to either directly to me or to Chairwoman Loretta Walsh or Council President. We are hard at work, even during the holidays, during this transition. We can continue to move the city forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember FREEL.
Yes, all I have is there is a Finance and Economic Development Committee meeting this Tuesday, the 10th of November at 5 o'clock. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Adams.
I have no comments this evening, ma'am. Thank you.
Councilwoman Dixon.
Thank you, Madam President. Just one thing. We have our Community Development and Urban Planning Committee meeting this Thursday, November 12th at 5 p.m. Thank you.
Councilmember Guy. Councilmember Guy.
I'd like to send my condolences out to Keith Booker, who passed away, and his family and his wife, Eunice Young Booker. The two of them, he as the president and she as the secretary of the Wilmington branch NAACP back in the late 80s and early 90s, were really exceptional couple if you will, in their respective roles. Now, Keith has passed away. He was the president and chairman, and his funeral was today. I had an opportunity to attend. It was a wonderful ceremony, and Keith has had a significant impact on how things are today. It's kind of interesting that he passed away in this political season. And I remember back in might have been 89 or 90, a group of us, we went to Los Angeles to the NAACP convention. And that was when the NAACP started the redistricting project. And we were one of the first branches that was fully trained in redistricting. And then we came back to Wilmington, and he authorized the redistricting committee chaired by Umar Hassanel and myself, and he as the president chairman. And we were able to move things along and set the stage for what happened that was historic in this recent election. In Delaware, we have a media that is racially oppressive. So most people don't even know that as a result of this election, back when we started the redistricting project, there was one African American in the Senate and 2 in the House. Then it moved up to 1 and 3. Last election, 2 and 6. As of today, as we sit here on City Council, there are 3 African Americans in Dover in the Senate and 9 African Americans in the House of Representatives. And so, Keith, there's a lot of stories that can be told that came out of that NAACP unit when he was the president and chairman of it. And a lot of people don't have the proper appreciation for his leadership at that time. In fact, there would have never been a first African-American mayor if Keith Booker, as the head of the Wilmington branch, didn't start the voter registration project, and Twin Brown had one at that time. If they had not had those 2 voter registration projects, and this is way back before the lady in Atlanta, Georgia, who everybody all over the nation talks about how wonderful she's done in voter registration in Atlanta and in Georgia. That was going on here in Wilmington under his leadership. And that's principally how James Sills got to become the mayor. With that voter registration, there was a realization that Wilmington's African-American community didn't just have to be subjugated to whatever we were given. And we were able to look at the data and tell the community that African-Americans can elect whoever they want to elect to be the mayor. And Jim Sills ended up stepping up to the table, and he ran and defeated Dan Frawley. And that's the beginning of all of what's sitting here on City Council right now, a whole army of African-American elected officials. And the question is, folks got to go back to the Voting Rights Act and understand why there was a fight for a whole bunch of African-American elected officials. And if you don't understand why there was a Voting Rights Act, then you'll never understand what it is that you're supposed to be doing, as so many African-Americans are in elected offices in the city, county, state, and nationally. So your history is important, but I want the public to know, because the community, you played a major role in what's sitting before you on City Council, down in Dover, in the county, etc. So the Voting Rights Act is alive, and Keith Booker is a very significant and important person in his leadership role in bringing the redistricting project to the city of Wilmington and the state of Delaware. And it was implemented at the school district level, Brandywine, Christina, Sussex County, Dover. So the Wilmington branch extended its arms throughout the state. When this new group of council people come in, there's going to be some people who are going to do all that they can do to rearrange the districts to reduce the amount of African-American elected officials, because there was already an attempt to cut us in half. And so you guys that are here and staying and the new people coming, some of you are going to choose to help to disenfranchise the African-American community, and some of you are going to make sure that things stay fair as it is now. But everybody needs to start thinking about that, because the people who want to reduce minority representation started all the way back in January of 2017. They were just unsuccessful. Otherwise, right now, there would be 7 people on council starting in January. So I commend those of you who prevented the disenfranchisement and the disrespect to the Voting Rights Act, and the work of Keith Booker and his leadership in making sure that the city government was structured in a way that's fair to everybody. That's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Guy. Councilwoman Walsh.
Just a couple of things. I would also like to recognize the death of a woman this week that most of us had to deal with through the Department of Elections, and that was Elaine Manlove. Yeah. She was a very fair individual. She would go out of her way to make sure to help anybody at all who was a candidate or even a worker for a candidate. She was, she loved her job, she loved her family, and more than anything else, she loved Joe Biden. And it was a bit ironic that she should be killed this close to the election. And I do have to, because Elaine and I were pretty close, because we belonged to some St. Patrick's stuff together. But I think the most wonderful thing about, if there's anything wonderful about her dying, is the fact that she had done an absentee ballot. So she got her chance to vote for Joe. Mm-hmm. And Keith Booker is a man in this town who should have been recognized. Mr. Guy failed to say that he was a longtime worker for the city of Wilmington also. And I think that's all I have to say this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, as I like to just acknowledge the staff that we've all pulled together to fill the big shoes of our chief of staff in her time of grieving for the loss of her mother. So staff, I give you kudos for everyone stepping in to make sure that a beat was not missed in preparing for council meeting and just handling the business of the council office. So thank you, council staff. Also like to say there was a marker placed on North French Street for marking the location of the original location of the Monday Club. Monday Club is one of the oldest Black male organizations in the nation. And that's right here in Wilmington, Delaware. So if you haven't got a chance to see it right there on 9th and French, please go by. It's history that our children need to know, that there is such an organization that has a membership of over 200 males to this very day. I'd like to also say, I don't know, many of you are getting notices from the Hope Commission. They started a practice of recognizing their graduates. And so I always make a special effort to send that graduate a note of inspiration because those guys are coming out trying to get a new life for themselves. And so anytime you see that, send them a note and give them the words of encouragement to know that we, the community, are open and welcome to help them go on their way and be a contributors to society. I think that's just a great practice that the Hope Commission has started. And we all need to be that village for our individuals who are trying to do the right thing. I'd like to also thank mention that the Marie Reed was the Civic Association president for Southbridge Civic Association, who had fallen ill, and the residents there have really pulled themselves together to take the lead and continue to moving the Southbridge Civic Association's mission forward. Once now that they have the wetland has been being resolved, we now are a economically viable neighborhood to start doing development, and the community has really stepped up. So I encourage Civic Southbridge residents to attend those meetings because they're all pulling together and great things are planned, and I believe will happen, especially from the effort that's coming from the residents. So I wanted to say kudos for them. And lastly, I just like to say with prideness that the Wilmington Community Advisory Council worked along with the Delaware Delinquent Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency, as well as the City of Wilmington's Park and Recreation, and the Wilmington Community Advisory Council applied for a grant. And they were awarded a $1 million 5-year grant that will address juvenile delinquency. It's focusing on the Wilmington Youth Leadership Incubator Program is the name of it. So I'm really proud and excited that the efforts of this group that's been in existence for 5 years under my leadership, that we're moving forward in addressing the issues that our young people are suffering from. This grant was a major accomplishment for us to be able to now do the services in the collaboration of other organizations and working along with the city to address our delinquency and our young people, and to build it on the Wilmington Youth Leadership Commission, which is another initiative that I am proud to say that I brought to the city of Wilmington. We're really moving Wilmington forward in addressing the root causes that are plaguing our cities. We wish we could do something instantly because the shootings are still happening, but things are still happening, and to address our youth delinquency, and it takes money, and we got $1 million. So with that, that's all I have to say. Again, everyone keep Marshall in your prayers, and with that, I accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
You have a second?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
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 Motion carried, meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.